everyone, it's Froggy and I'm back again with another episode of Hakuoki, Kyoto, and so let's get into it. The date was January 3rd, 1868. The shogunate armies and the Satsuma Chosu armies met at Toba Fushimi to fight in war. The shogunate army was over 15,000 strong, while the Satsuma Chosu only had 5,000 men. With the clear advantage in numbers, the shogunate army was able to make quick work of the enemies in Toba, then thinking that they could win in Kyoto too. The Shinsengumi should have been there beside them as well. However, despite the early victory in Toba, the battles became increasingly frustrating for the shogunate, eventually reaching a stalemate. What the shogunate hadn't accounted for was the advanced weaponry of their enemies. Their artillery made close combat nearly impossible. Even with the numbers, the constant gunfire and cannon fire subdued the shogunate men handily. Although the shogunate and the Shinsengumi men had guns as well, the range and accuracy of this newfound technology was too much for them. What ended up happening was, the Shinsengumi was resigned to using the same attack formations with swords and spears that they had the most experience in. Saito, Harata, and Negakura all led their men from the front lines, but all that came from their battles were casualties. However, there was one troop amongst them that suffered no casualties, winning each battle. It was the Fury Corps, led by Sanan and Hakuoki. The Fury Corps acted at night, and they were protected under the jurisdiction of the Fushimi magistrate, leading night raids on enemy territory. More often than not, the Fury Corps would return covered in blood from their enemies. Tonight was no different.
Tadaima.
Welcome back, Hakuoki. You're back really early for today. Hakuoki seemed uninterested in talking about it, so he attempted to change the subject. So, was it bad? He sighed, slouching his shoulders and hanging his head low. It didn't seem like Hakuoki to be sulky, but it seems like everyone is entitled to days like this. I mean, I guess I can hear you out at least. Did you want to try to talk about it? It may make you feel better. At first he was reluctant to entertain my suggestion, and then he began to open up.
Sanan-sanが厳しいっていうか、少しやりすぎじゃないかってさ。俺たちは羅刹だから、敵の陣地に突入するくらいわけないんだ。それで大砲や銃を壊したり、火をつけとけば次の日には使えなくなるだろう。そんなもんでいいと思ってたんだけど、三男さんは守ってる奴らも全員殺せって、武器を使える奴らも全員殺せって言うんだよな。俺は付き合いきれなくなって、先に帰ってきちまったんだ。
When Hakuoki had finished recounting the battle, he let out a sigh as he rubbed his temples.
悪い。話したら余計思い出してきちまった。俺先に休むよ。
Poor baby. Hakuoki. He forced a smile as he said goodbye, and he walked past me without a second look. If Hakuoki were the one to think it was all too much, then I believe him. But I wonder what would compel Sanan to do such a thing. I wondered to myself if I should let Hijikata know what Sanan had told me. I mean, I was sure, though, that Hijikata was up to date on whatever the Fury Corps was up to. Actually, was it possible that these orders were coming right from Hijikata himself? Or perhaps from the shogunate? It is a war we're fighting, so I wanted to give Sanan the benefit of the doubt. Also, Sanan surely has his own reasons, even if it weren't coming from someone else. All I could wish for was for everyone to be safe. Just then.
そこにいるのは誰ですか?
Ugh.
ああ、雪村くんでしたか。こんな遅くまでどうしたのです？眠れなかったのですか？
Oh, The shock of seeing him gave me a loss for words as he suddenly appeared in front of me. The white fabric of his uniform was coated in a dried, bloody mess, congealed and covering him even up to the mouth. Oh, I was just thinking about things, and I guess I lost track of time.
もう朝も近いですが、少しでも寝た方がいいですよ。私たち羅刹は今から本当の眠りにつきますけどね。
It was so bizarre that Sanan could carry on a normal conversation despite his horrific appearance. Other warriors returning from the battlefield this afternoon had nowhere near the amount of blood on them. And upon seeing Sanan, I couldn't shake Haisuki's story, so I spoke up in dire need of answers. Sanan, what's with all the blood?
これですか？返り血を浴びてしまったようです。今夜は東堂くんがいなくなってしまって2人分を働いてきたせいでしょうか。
Sanan's reply was nonchalant, as if the amount of blood on him was nothing out of the ordinary. But I wanted to know what was really going on. So I reproached him, asked for a reason. We're gonna ask for a reason, man. I want to know what's up. I heard from Haisuki that you're murdering people. A lot of people, Sanan. That's why you're all covered in blood, right? But you did so because you had a good reason behind it, right? Sanan chuckled in response, and after wiping his mouth, he began to answer.
どうやら心配をかけてしまったようですね。あなたも昼間の戦況は聞いているはずです。とても攻め込める状況ではないと。今それを打破できるのは私たち羅刹隊だけです。ようやく私たちの力が必要とされ発揮できる機会なのですからね。こんなに喜ばしいことはありません。普段以上に念には念を入れて任務を全うしてきたのですよ。
The calmness in Sanan's answer made him seem so rational that it almost justified his methods. If a warrior had the capacity to fight with more strength and power on the battlefield, well, then it's only natural to take advantage of it. But even then, knowing the loaded situation with the Furies, I still couldn't shake the bad feelings. Sanan, are you really feeling all right?
ええ、とても調子がいいです。
What I'd really wanted to ask was, don't you think it's a little strange for you to be covered in so much blood? But I couldn't get myself to ask him that.
では、私はこれで失礼します。
Sanan smiled politely as he walked off briskly. All I could do was watch as he left silently. I truly want to believe that Sanan was acting with the best intentions out of pride, but I knew that there was a chance Sanan was simply murdering out of an animalistic impulse. I just couldn't really convince myself otherwise. For whatever it was worth, though, I hated myself for looking at Sanan that way. This is war. There might have been nothing else that Sanan could do to justify his methods, let alone his existence. I suppose that I was beginning to realize what it really meant to be a part of the Shinsengumi. Or at least, that's what I hoped. Shaking the anxiety away was proving difficult. If Sanan's murderous tendencies were the side effect of becoming a Fury, what if he couldn't really subdue the feelings from the bloodlust after all? What if, in fact, he were being driven by it, instead of overcoming it like he told us he did? The burden of these possibilities started eating away at me. As morning came, I had awoken with the same stress. With the dawn came the sun, and with the sun came the sounds of cannon fire. However, it seemed as though the attack planned by the Fury Corps turned out to be successful. The Shinsengumi were able to attack an enemy encampment, and although many of our men were injured, we were able to do them some damage. Negakura attempted to rile his men into action.
おいおい、何しけた面してるんだ。敵の陣地はもうすぐだぜ。 今度こそ突破してやるから、俺の背中についてこい!
His attempts to cheer the men roused their spirits a bit, and he charged to the front of the line. When afternoon had passed, one of the enemy cannons was pointed at our headquarters, with one of the cannonballs smashing right into it. Cannons pounded the Fushimi magistrate's office, and the ground shook with each impact. I was treating injured warriors in our infirmary, and all of the captains gathered in the next room.
一時は敵の銃も大砲も鳴りを潜めていやがったんだが、あっという間に撃ってきやがったぜ。土方さん、もう無理だ。このままじゃこの奉行所が的になるだけだぜ。
夜の羅刹隊の攻撃により敵陣の銃や砲台は切り崩したと聞いていたのですが、どうやら後方からの補充が昼頃には終わった模様です。今は敵陣へたどり着くことすら困難な状況です。
それじゃあ今攻撃している新八は。
Hijikata bit his lip to the point that his face went pale, and he stood quietly. The sounds of cannon fire continued to echo in the background. Everyone expected Negikura not to return. Then out of nowhere...
よう、何しけた顔してやがるんだ? 今戻ったぜ。
新八。
Everyone was bewildered to see Negikura.
心配したぜ。敵の攻撃がすげえことになってるって聞いてな。
ああ、とんでもねえことになってやがる。
Negikura was covered in dust, dirt, and blood. Then he wiped his face with the back of his hand.
これ以上、敵本陣に飛び込むのはどうやっても無理だな。まあ、全滅覚悟って言うんなら飛び込んでみせるけどよ。
副長、この先に進むのはかなり困難かと。ご決断をお願いします。
His brow furrowed, and he scowled furiously.
おい、なんだこりゃ。どこかから煙が流れてきてやがるぞ。
大砲の火が奉行所に燃え移ったか。さっさと逃げねえとやばいぜ。土方さん、撤退だ。
Even Negikura's pleas seemed to fall on deaf ears.
トシさん。
Until this moment, the Shinsengumi had never known defeat in battle, but they were helpless against the firearms of the Satsuma and the Chosu. The Shinsengumi was Hijikata's life. Defeat was hard to accept. After what seemed like an eternity, he let out a long, ragged sigh.
なるほど。もう刀や槍の時代じゃねえってことだな。
Ah. His knuckles turned white. There were several more minutes of tense, breathless silence before he finally looked up, his eyes burning with fury.
ここは撤退だ。だがまだ負けたわけじゃねえ。この借りは必ず返してやるからな。
Fury wasn't the only thing in those eyes. Behind them I could see a bitter, desperate agony. Afterwards, it was decided that we would leave for Yodo Castle, who were our allies, and we were leaving the magistrate as it was catching fire. Yodo Castle, a castle located in the Yodo domain, it was built at the confluence of the Kizu, Katsura, and the Uchi rivers.
敵襲だ！
くそ！どこのドイツが来やがった！
It seems like we were caught as we were leaving the magistrate. The Satsuma Chosu troops must have realized that we were vulnerable, and they seized the opportunity to take over the magistrate.
あのいでたち、薩摩藩だぜ。
奴らは俺たちが食い止める。雪村は先に出ろ。源さん、彼女を頼む。
But they're still wounded that I need to tend to. Besides, Sanan and Hakuoki, the Furies are still inside there. Inoue yanked my hand in his direction when I tried to pull towards the magistrate.
彼らならきっと大丈夫だ。今は彼らを信じて先に行こう。ほら、ついておいで。
Okay. I was so concerned about the wounded soldiers in the triage, but I need to keep my faith in Sanan. Guilt washed over me as I ran away with Inoue pulling my arm. Alright, well, I think I'm going to go ahead and end this episode here for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to see more videos from me, then don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.